I just recorded an entire episode and then realized I wasn't pressing recording. Oh my god! When this happened. Anyhow, take two. Gosh, give us strength. Today we're talking about why we can't hear our soul. That other episode was so good, so juicy. Anyhow, reason we can't hear our soul is literally because it's covered in what in Kabbalah we call the klipa, which is literally negativity, layers and layers of negativity, and sometimes that negativity can be so strong that the light can decide, okay, you know what, the situation is not good for the soul, we're calling it back, as in this is why some people can end up, we're not going to say the words. But anyways, I digress. I don't want to digress. Let's stay on course today. In the day-to-day life, the average person, you and me, by the way, we're not just average, we are amazing eternal souls having a human experience. So that's why a lot of us cannot hear the klipa. It's covered in layers and layers and layers of gunk, of negativity. And, this actually reminds me of this commercial from Quebec. By the way, I'm from Quebec, Canada. Hello, Quebec City. Quebec. Well, not Quebec, Montreal, to be honest. But in Quebec, there is this commercial that is done by the state. Because I think Quebec is quite unique like that. I don't know if there's any other country that operates that way, any other province that operate that way. I know Quebec is not a country. Don't come at me. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is the Quebec is very unique in the sense of alcohol is sold by the government. Of course, you do have corner stores that can sell things like wine and beer. But when it comes to like heavy alcohol, like 40% rum, vodka, gin, stuff like that, and the heavy stuff, it's sold in a government owned store, like the SAQ. It's such an interesting thing. And even now that weed is legal, I don't know if I can even say that word if it's not gonna get flagged. But Mary Jane is the thing now, and it's still sold, in government dispensary. And of course, the healthcare is also governmental. So it's kind of this interesting system. Anyhow, I digress. So I'm saying that because I think Quebec is a very interesting case. But anyway, there's that commercial that the government does, and I'm thinking about that commercial every time I think about our soul and the layers of negativity. So there's this commercial that they do where it's filmed from the POV of the driver, and then you seeing it's a commercial to kind of like to tell people not to do drunk driving. It's to raise awareness. It's a against drunk driving campaign ads that runs on the TV, that used to run on the TV. I think it still runs. And then it's recorded from the point of view of the driver. And then you'll see they add the driver, the camera is driving on the road, and then they would add one glass of one glass. Let's see, a glass of wine or a glass of beer, an empty glass, but the glass is thick. So automatically it's like the road, you can't see the road as clear. And then they would add a second glass, and then you can't see the road even more. They would add a third glass, a fourth glass, and then eventually you can't see anything. So this is the image I always get whenever I think about our soul. We do have all of those layers of negativity covering it. And then that is the point of pain and those challenges and those dark nights of the soul that we go through in life. I'm going to be honest. I myself, sometimes I'm over them. I'm not going to pretend to be spiritual on top of a mountain and embrace the pain. But there's a purpose for that. The pain and the challenges and the darkness that we experience in our life is literally because their goal is to break the klipots. They're breaking the klipa. They're breaking those shells of negativity that is covering your soul. And one thing that we might not be aware of, that's just the way the dimension, this reality, the matrix is set up. The same way when you go to the gym, there's always pain. And a lot of us have come to like learn to enjoy the pain, because we know it's a testament of the hard work you put in the gym. You can feel your muscle aching and you're like, oh, yesterday was leg day. Oh my goodness. I feel, or even if you like, I don't know, if you like a Pilates, queen or king, or if you like whatever type of fitness that you're into, there's not a single fitness you're gonna find out there that is not gonna come with some sort of pain as your body is. Now the thing is, you might be adapted to it where you don't feel it anymore, but it's often like your body's always breaking and renewing itself, right? The muscles are always renewing themselves. So, and this comes with the process of pain. So, and then that saying, no pain, no gain. Well, in a way, it's a reflection of the spiritual, the way, the metaphysical rules of the world. And our soul works in the same way. The pain has a cleansing effect. And this is the only purpose of the challenges, the dark nights of the soul, and all of those things that we go through. It's pretty much to cleanse layers of negativity and to purify us. I know it sounds like, I wish it wasn't like that. I wish we could just be sitting on the couch eating ice cream and purifying those layers of negativity, but it doesn't work like that, right? It's the same way what I'm saying on a practical sense. It's literally when you're doing healing work, right? When you're doing growth work, it almost always comes with some sort of pain as you realize, as you gain new consciousness about things that you used to do, and then you go through the hurt, you go through feeling the emotions, it's painful, it's hurtful, and then you get through that storm, those dark clouds, and eventually you make it to the other side, and then you gain the knowledge from the experience, and then you grow, you get another version of yourself, and then it is rinse and repeat. So in a way, it's the same thing for our soul. This is the purpose of pain that I was just trying to explain, and this is exactly the reason why we can't hear our souls, because there's a lot of those negativity, the gunk that is covering our soul, and therefore the communication is muddled between you, body consciousness, and your soul. And let's be honest, our body consciousness is really like kind of like selfish, not that interested in spiritual pursuit, to be honest. Let's see. Okay, we're recording this time. I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice. The nature of our body consciousness is it's heavy. It's so heavy. It's like this heavy gravity that is dragging the soul down. So it's not natural for the connection, the spiritual connection to be made, to be honest. That's why we need to work for it. That's why it's spiritual work, because it's always an uphill battle, against, to get the spirituality in, because if we honestly, you don't need to look too far. If we don't do anything and we just go with the flow, the natural tendency is to be lazy, is to eat all of the bad food, is to drink all the alcohol, take all the drugs, to do all of all of the things that are not that necessarily great for us. But then they have that feel good moment. It's that cheap sugar hit, And if we don't do anything, this is the natural tendency of the body. So this is why we need to constantly push against that. That this is the point of spirituality, to kind of like come and feed your soul and to help cleanse those layers of negativity. And that way, when you say, oh, I want to have a life that is authentic to my purpose, what I came here to do. Well, all you're trying to say is that you want to be more connected to your soul, because your soul is already there. It's just that often we can hear it because we have mismatched interest. Your soul has the same qualities as the light, because we are all from the light. We're all aspects of the light. I know our brain we cannot possibly fathom what the light is. It is a concept that is way too big for our human mind to comprehend. So, but we need to know that we come from there. We come from the light. Our soul is eternal. It doesn't die. When the body dies, the soul just doesn't die. The soul just goes back to the light, and comes back over and over again for different reincarnation, for different missions, etc., etc. So all I'm trying to say is, That's why we can't hear the soul. It's that distance. It's those, it's this layers of negativity. And every time we act selfish, every time we just only think about ourselves, we don't care about sharing, we don't care about our neighbors, we screw people over, or just like we don't practice, we cannot, every time we just get caught up in toxic behaviors, we just increase more layers, more layers, more layers, because we increase more layers between, because we are emphasizing that body consciousness behavior. And our soul is the total opposite. Our soul is all about sharing. Our soul is all about loving. Our soul is all about that. Our soul is all about all of these good things. But we all know that we're humans. The body that we come in has, has its own tendencies. So this is where spirituality is very, very important, because it's the only way we can actually feed our soul and get more in touch with our soul. And it's the only way that you can, the only chance you have to pretty much to lead your purpose, to live a life, purposeful life, to get in touch with the greater reason why you came here. And also, again, yes, I know it has nothing to do with a plug, but this is why I keep talking again, over and over again, why it's so important for you to get a birth chart, because I do genuinely believe that the birth chart is pretty much the map, is the blueprint. It's given from the light as your map for this lifetime, for each lifetime. I don't believe that anything is a coincidence. Everything is connected. I do believe that the planets are pretty much messengers of the light, or it's all the system that's there for us to, to do the school of life, for our soul to grow. And then the birth chart is literally showing you, all right, here's the plan. It's like a blueprint of a house. The architect is not gonna come up and work on the project without having any blueprint, right? It's the same. The engineer is not gonna show up on site without knowing what he's doing, without any. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and this is why the birth chart can show you so much. And that's why I think I really do think it should be universal throughout the world, that everyone just knows their birth chart. Then again. Anyway, I digress. I digress. But in case you wanted to get a birth chart reading, all the links are down below, by the way. Again, if you don't even get it from me, get yourself a reading from a respectable astrologer. I promise you, it's very important. So what else did I want to talk about? So yeah, spirituality is very important to feed your soul. We feed our body every day with food, right? The same way we need to feed our soul. I mean, yeah. And the soul is not fed by, burgers and steak and any of that. If you vegan, anything, it's not, the soul doesn't get fed by that. The soul get fed with spirituality. It's the soul, it's that good soul food. So that's what I wanted to say. The point and also the perk of spirituality is that, as you can tell from what I'm talking right now today in the episode, there's always going to be challenges in life. I'm not here to sell you fake positivity. I get it, it's attractive. I totally get it. However, it's not the whole truth. Like, the life, if someone tells you you can have a life with zero challenges, they're lying to you. I'm not here about, I'm not here to lie to you, okay? This is the point of life. There's always going to be challenges. But when you connected to the light through your spirituality, what happens is that, those graphs that we all, that go really from a sharp rise and then the sharp low and then back again, and then they look very dramatic, like constant super high. Then when you fall below the graph in the minus territories. This is life pretty much when you're doing it blind, without your spirituality. Your soul is not connected to the light, nothing at all. You're just roughing it. Now, I don't know about you, but this is draining. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm actually also very lazy. I want to go through life as seamless as possible. I accept that challenges are part of life. Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm not happy about that. Sometimes I go through stages where I'm jaded. I'm over it. It's all part of the human reaction. But having spirituality and prioritizing it, what it does is that it allows you, what happened is you tighten the gaps between the highs and the lows. So it gives you the tools, first of all, protection, and also the tools to, instead of having such huge highs, such huge lows, they become, the gap between the highs and the lows become less. They're smaller. So it's more stable. Of course, you still go through challenges, but it's more stable. That's what I want in life, because let's be honest, I've had a few rough patches in my life, and I want to make life as seamless as possible. Just go through the challenges as smoothly as possible and have merciful challenges. And this is what spirituality does for you. So I really, that's it for today. I feel like I'm just that's it. I've spoken enough today. Khalas. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, that's it. I will see you in the next episode, and keep shining bright like a diamond, my love. Again, I keep saying that in the recent episodes. I know life might feel rough for a lot of us lately. We just want to send some light, blessings, protection for all of the part of the world that are pretty much going through war right now. I think it's all of our responsibility to pray for these people, to send light. We don't understand how everything is energy. When you're thinking you're not doing any difference, it's not going on Instagram and then, like, doing a lot of like posts and stuff like that. That's just like, anyways, like, everyone support as much as they can, in the best way they can. But I want you to understand that something as simple as closing your eyes and just sending good energy to these places makes a massive difference. And also the spiritual work that you're doing in your life, again, help elevates the frequency of the world. Because we have to understand, we are all connected in that field. So the spiritual work that you're doing, you're not doing it just for you. You're also doing it for the entire world. And also, the reason why our entire world is so chaotic like that is because not enough of us are doing the work. Like, there needs to be a critical mass of people doing the work to elevate the energy of the planet. And because not enough of us are doing the work, that's why things are so chaotic. And also, I know it sounds crazy, but we need to understand that we are energetic beings, all connected in that same energetic field. And also, we need to understand that things are gonna get, as time goes by, things are gonna get quicker and faster and more challenging. So you need to anchor yourself in your spirituality now more than ever. Anyways, it seems like I'm segueing into another podcast episode. So we're gonna stop this right now and stay tuned. Stay tuned for the next episode. But for now, my love, keep shining bright like a diamond. I know right now there might be a lot of pressure, but again, we need extreme pressure to create that diamond from the coal. So I will see you in the next one, my love.